All right, we are live again. Feels like it's been a while. Coming fresh off of a long weekend trip with the boys to Big Cedar, playing a lot of golf. Get to break down some DFS finally. Make some money. So, I did manage, thankfully, because of that trip, to not look at anything, even though the slate dropped. I am up to date on all of the news and notes, checked everything on my flights. So we'll break this thing down. I think there is, for me, my biggest advantage is in the early season because of the lack of knowledge that we have on the actual field and get a good feel for everything going on. So, kicking things off, San Jose State, USC. We're going to break down DK and FanDuel on the first look here. I'm going to try to combine things, a little streamline some stuff. And then we'll see how we prep that going forward next week. Obviously, very busy week. I have taken off Thursday and Friday so that I can do live before locks on both of those days, given the expanded slates that we will have with 5 straight days of college football DFS going on. Starting things out, USC, San Jose State, 60.5 over under, 49.5 for USC, 11 for San Jose State. I do expect USC to even clear that number. I have bet USC to cover. They tend to kick the snot out of everybody. So Maeva at 9K makes a ton of sense. He's going to rack up a ton of numbers. Do have some concerns with the wide receiver core and their health right now. Allegedly, Tanook Hines and Terrell Anderson are back on the field, which is helpful. Very young wide receiver room behind them. So getting that right will be important if we go in that direction. Luke Weaver has come over from University of Hawaii, and he is now the starter named at San Jose State. This is a passing offense that has done some decent things in the past. He has limited mobility. I don't expect him to have a big game here, even at 5,200. He will have to chuck it a ton. I think you can go to the wide receivers, though, potentially, if you need to get some cheap value. I don't know. We'll see when we get to the wide receivers. Certainly, Maeva will be in play, although he's not cheap at all. Wayman Jordan and King Miller return. They should be the 1A, 1B. There's been some comparisons to Samaje Perine and Joe Mixon from their time at Oklahoma. Jordan is still working his way back to an extent from the ankle issue he had a year ago. I believe he had a cleanup procedure during the spring, missed a good portion of that. If I was going to take a shot on one, I am taking King Miller more than likely over Wayman Jordan due to the health factor and where they ended last season. Wormley has come on strong. So does Radu. So those are guys to kind of keep an eye on. I do expect this to be a committee. Wormley is firmly as the backup right now. So Wormley would be the guy if you were taking a deep flyer on a running back here in the USC situation if you think they just run the score up late. I'm not going to play Bates. Bates is the likely starter at San Jose State. They have an 11 team total. I'm not playing a running back in that. It would be wide receiver shots overall. Wide receiver wise, Tanook Hines, that's a great price. I think he takes over the Makai Lemon role. He did take over the Lemon role whenever he was missing at late in the season, specifically in the bowl game. Showed well with Maeva there, 6 for 163. He did it in the Oregon game at 6 for 141. I think Hines is a great play at 6,500. I think that's a great value. He should be north of 7K. So good option there. Mosley is likely to start. Terrell Anderson's far too cheap at 3,900. I know he wasn't good at NC State, but he is more likely to take the Jacoby Lane role. They do have a ton of young talent here with, where are they at? don't even have him on here really well. Zacharias Williams is a highly touted kid. I should see the field a good bit. And where's the really good young kid at? Dixon Wyatt. So Dixon Wyatt's a guy that I'm interested in. Same thing with Ethan Feaster. That's Booby Feaster. He's looked good in the fall camp. Seen some highlights out of him. So there might be some shots to be able to take as punt plays here, depending with the super young guys that could come out of nowhere. Starting three should be Hines, Mosley, and Anderson. Anderson being far too cheap. I think this is an easy stack ability option, although they could easily just run the football all over them. But this trio is priced well to make up for the pricing on Maeva. Mark Bowman, that's a name you're going to want to know. I don't know that week 0 you're going to want to take the shot here. This kid has Brock Bowers written all over him. He's an absolute superstar. I know in the card game, his autos are absurd right now already out of the Prism set. So guy that I've been trying to buy a little bit of, but I think he is a superstar in the making. Lake McCree holds nothing on this kid. He's going to be able to put up huge numbers. Wide receiver wise on the San Jose State side, I don't think I'm going to be willing to play McClure. He's going to be out there, but not a guy that I'm super interested in. Malachi Riley, decent returning option, but not a guy that I'm going to be all in on either. The guy that I would want is Anthony Ivy at 3,800. Coming over from Penn State, he's got the most pub coming to him. So he would likely be the one for me if I was going to take that shot, but I would much rather just take the chance on Terrell Anderson at 3,900. That is a beautiful price tag to take there. All right, competitive game here. 53.5 over under in the NC State UVA game. 29.5 on Virginia, 24 for NC State. Bo Pribula should have some decent rushing ability. Not a terrible quarterback. Don't love this price tag. I would love him lower in the 6s. NC State did struggle on defense recently. Dave Dorn usually has a good defense. He did not last year. Do I trust this UVA offense to throw up 29? Not necessarily. I kind of like NC State in this game, I'll be honest. But CJ Bailey comes in at 6,600. Don't love that price tag either. Throws the football pretty well. Does not get the rushing numbers you would like, mainly because Will Wilson's still here. And Will Wilson just 8 touchdowns last year to end the year. He was a red zone weapon. Do they go back to that? That is my biggest concern. I would prefer if Bailey was without the Will Wilson impact here. I don't love both of those quarterbacks, but I'm still okay with it. Don't love it. I would much prefer to get into the running back situations. Duke Scott was pretty decent down the end of the year whenever Hollywood Smothers did not play, namely that Georgia Tech game where we got on him with nearly 200 yards rushing and a touchdown. Ran decent in the bowl game with 94. He should get all of the work. Reports are he should have the bulk of the work. Lots of question marks in this UVA backfield. I think Peyton Lewis is the most talented one. I don't think they're going to end up going there heavily. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty heavy split compared to the Jamari Taylor situation from a year ago with Ja'Kai Middlebrook being a guy that gets a lot of work, specifically out of the backfield, if Pribula can hit him. Middlebrook's priced up more than I had hoped for. I would rather pay the extra 100 and take Duke Scott. He's just going to get all the work. I think Lewis ends up carving out a pretty hefty role. I think Lewis ends up being the best back in this backfield long term, although Middlebrook is getting most of the pub currently in the offseason. Victor Snow comes over from NC State. It sounds like he's not going to be the guy. Or from Buffalo. I am going to buy a lot. Where is he? Oh, Bubba. Okay, we've got a lock situation here, more than likely. JoJo Trader. So, he stunk at Miami. Let's be honest. He just was not good. He had the one big game against SMU when most of the wide receivers were banged up. I think that's going to end up being a lock button for me. There's been a lot of guys wanting to ladder his receiving total. That is way too cheap for JoJo Trader. He does have an established relationship with CJ Bailey. There is a lot of those on this slate of guys who played together in high school who were not playing together before, and now they are back together. JoJo Trader at 3,200 is going to make adding some stuff together and getting those high-end guys very easy. He's going to be a guy that I'm going to buy into early and often. It sounds like also that Keenan Jackson's going to be on the field with these guys. So I'm buying into Trader as the one for NC State, and he's going to be a guy that I'm gonna jump all in on there. More than likely, I'm going to have a lot. I was hoping Teddy Hoffman would be healthy, but with him out now, it's the Trader show for me. Wide receiver wise for UVA, they lose Trell Harris. They lose I always forget his name, the slot wide receiver, Cam Ross. Thank you. Got it. So Cam Courtney's going to take over that role. I would buy Cam Courtney as the guy to get the bulk of the targets if I was going to get a wide receiver from UVA. I do like the price tag on him. I like the price tag on Rico Flores. I think Rico Flores is probably the number 2, taking more of the outside Trell Harris-y spot. But Courtney's going to be the guy I would like as far as, PPR wise here on DK. He's a guy that I'm going to want some shares of. And we'll kind of see once I run the projections. I'll run some optos. I'm testing that out this season, so we'll have that put in there. But I think JoJo Trader, it's going to be pretty hard not to want to play him in this situation. Here, we'll just keep JoJo Trader on there because that is going to be a beautiful price tag. I'm going to keep all the value guys on here. I like that. I like it when I do that. Terrell Anderson at 39. I'll keep on there too. All right. Jacksonville State and North Dakota State. So the Bison make their debut in the FBS. 46.5 over under, 26.5 for North Dakota State, 20 for Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State does lose a good bit of production there. Caden Creel comes over. He's 8K. He's a good runner of the football. He can't throw for anything. He is not a passer at whatsoever, but he can run it. Will he run on North Dakota State? I mean, you get him in the Fargo Dome. I don't particularly love that situation as an opener for him. I do know North Dakota State, the bread and butter there. Their bread and butter team. They like to run the heck out of the football and play good defense. They've done it for 15 years. They've been doing it ever since I ran into them when JMU would play them in the FCS. It's just kind of who they are. Nathan Hayes is going to be their starting quarterback, taking over. Has a little bit of a running profile, but not massive. Efficient thrower of the football. Don't love the 7K price tag there. I'd rather buy into some bigger guys. I'm sure there's going to be some guys later in this thing that I'm going to be a lot more in on than Nathan Hayes. Now, running back, very similar to Duke Scott. We got another Scott in DJ Scott, 6,900. He is going to run the heck out of this football. He is the next man up in this backfield. He's going to be a guy at 69 that I'm going to be in on. You just got to like running backs at North Dakota State. That's kind of their thing. We don't quite know who's taken over the Cam Cook spot for Jacksonville State. Lando seems like he's got the inside track, but it's still a bit of a question mark. We're going to have to kind of wait and see what they come out with. I don't even love it at 54. It is a run-based offense that they're going to run under Clint Trickett. Wide receiver-wise, the volume's not really going to be there for North Dakota State. I don't love buying into Williams and Collins are more likely to be the outside wide receivers taking over for Bryce Lance. They've had some injury issues in their pass core. Guys missing throughout practices. I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. I doubt I want to go there. I think I'm going to lean more into the running backs for North Dakota State with Scott. The one guy that I'm willing to buy into had a good connection with Creel at the end of last season, DeAndre Johnson. So he was a guy that I played a good bit down the latter part of the year, caught a ton of touchdowns, had some yardage games. He's more of a big, deep threat target, 6'8" wide receiver. Decent price tag on him at 5,200. I'm willing to buy into that. Second wide receiver on the team is going to end up being Ronell Johnson. Fine option. More likely, I will want to play DeAndre Johnson if I'm going to mix in a wide receiver. That's probably where you're going to have your advantage. I think Creel might be in play, but man, that seems like a big price tag to pay for a quarterback, although you don't need to stack him. So I don't think that's going to end up being in my parameters. Sacramento State also making their debut. Very old team. Very old team there. 52.5 over under against Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan with a 31-point team total, 21.5 for Sac State. Am interested in Eastern Mich here. 7,400 for Noah Kim. Very reasonable price tag. He's got limited mobility, but we know he can chuck it. He can absolutely sling the rock. So they do have a senior-laden secondary at Sac State, but I don't mind the Noah Kim aspect for my two quarterbacks. Right now, I have a minor lean towards Maeva so far based on the pricing that we've now seen. Kim, I do like at 74, though. It would be a guy that I'm going to be interested in. Conklin is going to be your starter, Carson Conklin at Sacramento State. We don't have enough from him with his limited time at Fresno to kind of know what we're looking at. It seems like he's more of a limited pocket passer. Meh. I mean, it's very meh. Maybe you can buy into that a little bit. That might be something to look at there. For Sac State, Jamar Curtis is going to be the starting running back. Minor interest, but he seems a little priced up compared to where I would want to be. Eastern Mich, the running back room is interesting. So, Noah Kim previously at Coastal. Braden Bennett comes over with him. I had hopes that Braden Bennett would be the guy. What's up, Jay Whitty? It's good to see you, my friend. Braden Bennett is the guy that I hoped would run away with this room. Every depth chart that's come out, though, has put Matord and Blue. I'm playing NFL. I have not. I'm playing DFS, but I'll play, I'm kind of waiting on that. I've just been grinding optimizers and building stuff for college during the off season. I don't know what to make of this situation. I might end up staying away from this thing with Blue and Matord. I don't love this spot. I think they're going to be able to run the heck out of the football. But boy, is this ugly. Godley's going to end up being the backup running back or the second back through behind Curtis for Sac State. So we'll have to wait and see in that situation. I'm going to make some decisions here before Thursday when I build out what my player pool is here. Wide receiver wise, this is where we're making hay. I think that Kim is going to throw the heck out of the football. And Devereaux is very clearly the top option in this offense for me. I like the Kim-Devereaux combination. We've seen it out of Devereaux last season, specifically later in the year, where he was just racking up touchdowns. I think it's going to be hard to stay away from that in that situation. Mack should be the number 2 on the field, not necessarily going all in there. And my personal favorite for Sac State is going to be Matt Coleman. I liked him at San Jose State. So naturally, I'm going to be buying in there. That would be a shot play for me at 3,600. I don't mind that spot for him. Joshua Long is the tight end. They do utilize the tight end at Eastern Mich. That could be a guy to look at. But for the price tag, I'm just going to go heavy on Devereaux. in that spot. Moving into Florida State. So I think we're going to end up having some very easy builds this week. I'll be honest. That's what it seems like. 53.5 over under here. 42.5 for Florida State. 11 for New Mexico State. I'm not touching New Mexico State. We'll talk about who they're going to have. Maybe there's one guy that I might have minimal interest in, but based on the pricing so far, it's going to be pretty easy to not have to go here. Ashton Daniels takes over for Thomas Castellanos. He sucks. Pretty easy to say that. He stunk at Auburn. He stunk at Stanford. He is playing against an absolute dumpster fire of a New Mexico State team. Could he run for 100 yards? Yeah. Could he throw for 200? Yes. I think it's within the realm of possibility. I think there's some shots that you can take there so far. Still preferring the Maeva Kim aspect. Hedden is going to be the starter for New Mexico State. It's pointless. Don't bother. It's not even worth taking the shot. Running back wise, all right, so Sam Singleton's been banged up. Wisner's been banged up a little bit here and there. I believe is he back? Yeah, he got into practice last week. Chroma's going to get 15 to 20 carries. So Chroma's going to be a guy that I'm going to want to buy into. Yes, he was not great last year. Yes, he didn't really see the field. Yes, I knew that, so I didn't buy into it. I didn't think he fit the Malzahn scheme great, but he will be a guy that's on the field a good bit in this situation, getting a lot of carries. So I will buy into Chroma being the guy who gets a lot of touchdowns. It's probably going to be Daniels or Chroma, so you're going to want to buy one of the two more than likely. You're going to want pieces from Florida State because they're going to score 7 to 8 touchdowns more than likely. New Mexico State wise, I'm probably not touching the situation, but it's going to come down to James Jones is the likely starter. And then Terrell Washington, TJ Washington from Iowa is going to be his split in the backfield. Probably not touching either one. More than likely, the only back in this game I'll look at is going to end up being Usman Chroma. Deuce Robinson is an absolute superstar. Now, Ashton Daniels killed Cam Coleman, and I think we're getting the Cam Coleman breakout party, which evidently a lot of other people are now on. Deuce Robinson's an absolute freak. This offense is built as a one-read offense. Robinson's going to go for over 1,000 yards this season. He's raw points in this game. He probably should be the highest projected receiver on the slate. Reasonably. The likelihood is he goes 5 for 120 and 1. It's going to be hard to keep him out at some point. Do I like him more than Chroma? That's debatable because they're similar pricing and you're probably fighting to get one in a flex. Do I want to play them together? Maybe, maybe not. I'm more than likely, if I was playing Daniels, I'm probably going to play Robinson because that means that Daniels runs in 2 touchdowns, throws for 1 to 2, and it likely is going through Deuce. Second wide receiver on the field is going to be Mekhi Danzy, and that's the only guy that I'm going to look at outside of Robinson. But with that price tag, there's way too much better stuff. I'd rather have Devereaux by a mile. Rather have Trader. I think Trader's probably looking like the best punt on the slate. Best wide receiver, and the only option that I'm going to look at all for New Mexico State would be TK King. King came on real strong at the end of last year. He's going to operate as the number one in this offense. 5,300 is a little steep of a price to pay, but that would be the only option because of the just pure volume that they're going to have to just chuck it the entire time. Do they shut him down, though, if they're just getting smoked? It's quite possible. So it might end up being a situation where I'm not super interested because of the price tag. All right. Hawaii taking on Stanford, rematch of last year. Love that. 27-point team total on Stanford, 21.5 on Hawaii with a 48.5 over under. I'm really going to have a hard time not liking Hawaii here. I think Stanford's one of the worst teams in the country, similarly to San Jose State. I'm just going to ignore Davis Warren and not even act like he exists at 6,800. I mean, this is a MAC level quarterback. Like, Andrew Luck would, after being retired for however many years, is 10 times the quarterback Davis Warren is. Davis Warren's awful. So I'm not even considering him at 6,800. That's an embarrassing price tag. He should be 5,500 at best. Ali Hotto, I'm in. If you want to play 6,500 Ali Hotto, you know he's going to chuck it. I don't care that it's Stanford. Hawaii's built this offense. It's beautiful. Even last year, Ali Hotto, remember, was rolling in the first half of this game before he hurt his ankle and then just slowed down. They still won that game. And he was banged up, hobbling around, missed the next week's game against Arizona. Like, give me all. Ali Hotto was 9,300 last year, and he's 6,500 against this same Stanford team. Thank you. I'll take it. Like, easy money. Now, if I'm playing anybody on Stanford, it's going to be Micah Ford because he's an absolute demon. Ran for $150 on Cal at the end of the year. 6,300 is far too cheap. Dominated this Hawaii team last year. Carried the heck out of the rock. 113-1. Yeah, he was 4,700. It was a great call last year on that one. When he faces lower competition, he plays well. You look at this BC game, 157-1. Like, it's there. It's in there. He can do it. He can catch the ball out of the backfield a little bit. Davis Warren's got a pea shooter up there. So I'm going to take shots on Micah Ford, no doubt about it. So I'm in there. No worries. I like the combo of Chroma and Ford. I think that's going to end up playing pretty well. Wide receiver-wise, one huge question mark here. Now, Ashlock at 4,600 is just disrespectful, I'll be honest. I just don't know that he's going to play. There's a big, big question mark on Ashlock. Big question mark there. So this is your number one wide receiver if he plays. That's a disrespectful price tag. That's a 6K easy wide receiver. Caden High, I'm kind of down on Caden High, I'll be honest. I don't know that he's going to end up being that good. It is more than likely for Stanford if I was taking shots. Blackburn, the tight end, isn't a bad option. It's 36. And where's Brown? Right here. Nope, that's wrong. Brown. Hang on. Let's see. We're going to go type action. I want Brown. Where's Brown? Oh, I mean, they just put a 3K crapper in here. All right, former Yale wide receiver Nico Brown. Look at the numbers, folks. Look at the numbers. Over 100, pretty much weekly. If I'm taking a wide receiver from Stanford, it's going to be Nico Brown, and 3K is just disrespectful. Just flat out disrespectful. Should not be that. That is a free option. I mean, there is so much. You can buy anything you want on this slate. Audric Harris. So moving into Hawaii, guys. So Brown's the only one that I'm willing to play. Nico Brown from Stanford if I'm playing a wide receiver from Stanford. And it's not going to be stacked. It's just going to be a single wideout. Audric Harris is going to end up being the guy that I'm highest on, especially if Ashlock doesn't play. Audric Harris should take the Jackson Harris spot. He is an absolute rocket ship on the outside. So Ali Hotto to Audric Harris, 4,400 on that price tag is absolutely gorgeous. I think you can easily go with Audric Harris. Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. That's absolutely beautiful. JoJo Trader, great price tag too. Golly. I mean, they priced all these guys too far down. If Ashlock's out, then Uliata Tama is going to take that spot more than likely. He is going to be the second slot option, but if Ashlock is out, he's going to take that spot. And then Hawaii also has Trey Griffiths, who's likely to be on the field as well, coming over from Oklahoma State. As the other outside option. They underpriced Hawaii massively, per usual. What a shocker. I mean, this is what they do in week 0. Making it too easy. They're making it too easy. I don't like that. You're going to end up leaving a ton of price on this table, so that's why I'm not going to... I guess I'm going to take my minimum off on the opto that I built. All right. Last game on this slate for DK. UNLV taking on Memphis. I do like UNLV. I don't think Memphis is a great team. 56.5. Charles Huff moves over from Southern Miss to Memphis. 31-point team total for UNLV. They are going to be the team that just gives it up in bunches. 25.5 for Memphis. I mean, this is going to be the shootout game if you're going to get one. This would be the game stack game. It's late. The problem is, right now, Jackson Arnold is in a quarterback battle. I can't believe I'm saying this. With Alex Orji. Sounds like they're going to split snaps. Everything that's come out says they're going to split snaps. I'm probably going to end up having to stay away, and I don't love the fact that I'm going to have to stay away. There's also a quarterback battle at Memphis that sounds like Aaron Nolan's playing well. I would prefer it to be Marcus Stokes. I believe he comes from West Florida. If it's Stokes and I get word that it's Stokes, I'm in on Stokes at 62. So I like that price tag a good bit, which probably is going to end up meaning that Maeva, I would say Maeva, Kim, Daniels, Alihado, and Stokes would be the player pool if I'm to guess going into this thing. Okay, well, that price tag's not prohibitive. Jaden Thomas is 100% going to end up being in lineups for me because he's an absolute demon too. Oh, I mean, I was thinking I might be able to do that. I might be able to go Terrell Anderson there, and then Maeva, and then that would be the build out, which would be pretty daggone nice. I'll be honest. All right, running back wise, Thomas is an absolute freak. He doesn't get enough carries for my liking, but he can break a game very quickly with a 180-yard run. We've seen it against Idaho State, 147-3. Like, he's going to rip off more than likely. He's going to get 15 touches and have the opportunity to go for 150 yards and multiple scores. Just an absolute demon back there. He is going to be the top guy. He'll get mixed in a little bit with Jalen Glover, but I prefer Thomas by far and away. Dallin Hayden continues to not be anything. I would buy into Jalen Carter if I'm going to take a Memphis running back. That would be my top option there. 5,700, small price to pay. Perfectly happy playing him in that situation. Wide receiver wise, let's take the UNLV side first. Lions will be on the field. They mix and match their wideouts a ton. I'm interested in Lions. I'm interested in... They did bring in a ton of guys with Walker and Stellato. I don't like Stellato. He's not a great wide receiver. Taz Riddicks would be a guy that I'm minorly interested in. McGee is likely to be the top option here, more than likely, but they do mix and match so freaking much. I remember picking out a guy last year. There was a guy that I would just pick on that played like 6 snaps a game, and he kept scoring touchdowns. D'Angelo Irvin also projected to be in the top 3, but I think they rotate so daggone much, it's going to be hard to put a wide receiver out there, specifically when you got 2 rushing quarterbacks in Arnold and Orji that are going to be on the field. This is not going to be as good of a passing offense without Calandria back there. Wide receiver wise, on the Memphis side, Tipton's not a bad option as a tight end. Timmons, I don't even know where Timmons is. Timmons is going to be a starter on the outside. Yeah, Timmons is 3K. Great. Another guy that's stupid cheap. I would take Chapman as my top option. He comes over from Southern Miss with the coaching staff. He will be the slot wide receiver, which tends to eat a lot more. So Tyshawn Chapman would be my top option for Memphis and pairing with Marcus Stokes if I was going that direction. It sounds like we've got a ridiculous amount of ways we can go here on this slate. because there's just a ridiculous amount of value with some mispriced players, I think it's going to be very easy to fit in my Ava without problem. Which I think you're going to be able to go that direction if you want. Jet Thomas, Chroma, be easy to get off of Chroma, get into Deuce Robinson. Yeah, this is going to be ridiculously easy to build pretty much anything you want. All right, let's move into FanDuel because they have the UNC TCU game, even though I think, what are we doing? All right. TCU's heavily favored, favored by like 7.5. Probably not enough. Let's be honest. Billy Edwards is going to start for UNC. I'm not particularly interested there. I do like Jaden Craig. Comes over from Harvard, a guy that I like coming into this season. So I do have some interest there. Not necessarily a huge mobile quarterback, but a guy that's pretty equal to Josh Hoover. Probably takes care of the football a little bit better. I have interest in Jaden Craig at 9,900. That seems reasonable. Anybody sub 10K is a good shout. Jeremy Payne's going to be hard to get away from. I'm probably going to end up avoiding the running back situation at UNC. Payne's probably a great option just from a half-point standpoint. He's going to run the heck out of the football. The other backs behind him have been banged up pretty good, so it sounds like he should get a heavy workload there. Dwyer is the best returning option for TCU, but Major Everhart, they've been so banged up, has been getting reps at running back. I mean, that's kind of where TCU's at from a running back standpoint. Where is Ed Small? Yeah, I mean, Ed Small at 5,300. I personally do think that Ed Small is the best option from the TCU side. He's a good punt play. Ezekama's probably not going to play. Y'all might have seen he got beat up in a fight in a locker room. Needed to go to the hospital. That seems suboptimal in that situation. So their wide receiver room, I love Ed Small. Kekahuna is probably going to be out of the slot, a guy that should be pretty decent. And then Jordan Shipp seems slightly underpriced at 6,800, coming back as the top option from last year. Played decent. I mean, caught some touchdowns. Played pretty well considering how terrible that offense was a year ago. He would be a guy that I'd be interested in at 6,800. That seems fairly reasonable. 11.8's too cheap for Maeva. Let's be honest. I mean, that's going to end up being a guy that you're going to want to build around. Like we said, I'm not going Wayman Jordan here in this situation. I'd much prefer King Miller. It's going to be kind of hard to not play King Miller at 8,900. I won't play Wayman Jordan in that situation. Hines is probably a great, I mean, look at the price difference from DK. So I'm not going to play any Terrell Anderson on FanDuel more than likely because I'd rather just play Hines for 800 more. And Bowman's priced at 63. Mosley at 55 is a good punt option. Ivy's priced all the way up. Probably out there. I'm probably going to end up avoiding San Jose State on FanDuel. I think Hines is going to end up being a good option with Maeva there. All right, UVA. I don't think I can justify that. CJ Bailey price tag. I'd rather just go up to Maeva. Likely to avoid Pribula. Maybe Pribula with the rushing, but I bet somewhere in here I'm going to have a better option. Middlebrook, not a bad option, but Duke Scott's too good of an option at 78, getting all the work. That's a good option. So Payne, Scott, pretty easy there with King Miller being in play. Victor Snow, heck no. We're going to rhyme that right out the gate. JoJo Trader, priced up by comparison on FanDuel, still 64 is a perfectly fine option. Cam Courtney, more of a PPR merchant. 56 is reasonable, but I'm probably out there. Yeah, I would say JoJo Trader is probably the only wide receiver I'm going to look at in that game. Let's see, quarterback-wise here, Caden Creel, that's a reasonable price tag for his rushing ability at 94. Maybe Nathan Hayes, but I doubt it. I'd rather play DJ Scott at 72. Running backs are cheap on here. There's no reason. King Miller is just a fool's errand at that price tag then. DeAndre Johnson's priced up a little more than I would like at 86. I'm probably out there. Probably out on anything on this game except for maybe Creel and definitely DJ Scott I'm in on. Pretty straightforward slate here. Gonna be able to get rid of a lot of guys. 9,700. I mean, I'm not playing Davis Warren. We all know that at 9K. 9,700 Alejado. Open. I'm open on that one. I probably am preferring. I mean, right now it's pretty obvious that I'm probably going there. Let's be honest. Maybe Alejado makes the pool because he has some mobility. Micah Ford's going to be a good option at 8,800 with Payne. I mean, they price these guys down. Barfield's the starter for Hawaii, but I'm not playing a Hawaii running back. Ashlock's banged up. Audric Harris at 61 is a great play. Nico Brown at 6K, great play. I would rather just keep to the high-end pieces so far. Let's see here. What's Ashton Daniels' price? 11K. Okay. Well, that's way too much. Heading, this is what we were talking about. Heading 6,900. That's hilarious. No shot, but still awful. That's hilarious that he's 6,900 though. That is a low price. I mean, Chroma at 77 is just a ridiculous price tag. That's just so cheap in this situation that it should not be that way. They just priced down everybody. Deuce Robinson at 95, you're going to be able to fit him in. I don't hate the TK King at 71, but I don't love it either. I mean, all right, let's just say I think you can do this easily. Let's see. I think this is going to be a very easy build to do. Let me Audric Harris. I don't even think you need to go. Yep, you can give me Micah Ford. Why not? Let's see here. Let me pair up my Ava with Hines. Oh yeah, we can make this work. That's gonna be tight. I don't know if you can go Deuce there. I think you might need to go Chroma. Let's see. We're gonna go Chroma. We'll go Hines. We'll go Harris. We've got Ford. Who do I want in my last wide receiver spot? I do kind of want the Deuce from a raw point standpoint. I like Harris there. I'm just gonna build something for the banter. Because why not? I think Jordan Ship's a solid option. Let's pick our other quarterback. Alejado might be a shout. And then you've got 7,500 for a wide receiver. I mean, I think that's not unreasonable. You could also easily go Payne here. I think Payne's a shout with all the work he's going to get. I think Duke Scott's a shout. I mean, there's just so much here. Like, you can easily go Duke Scott. You'd have 77. Like, there's so much you can do in this situation. Gee whiz. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways you can go on FanDuel that are reasonable. But it's going to be a tight pool. Very tight pool here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to piecing this together because you don't need to go Hines. Maeve is going to be the best option. You can also go into a bunch of different things. You could go Ashton Daniels, pair him with Deuce, and then you've got 76 left for. I would love to go something different, but you got like DJ Scott at 72. That's not unreasonable. With date, yeah. I mean, you can go DJ Scott with Duke Scott, and then you're loaded up. Like, this is going to be very easy, very easy to build this out and get some big boys in there. But Audric Harris is definitely a very solid option here in that spot. So I will be back Thursday. same time, 9 a.m., building out player pools on each, kind of like who I am going to play with and get going on. And then Saturday, we got Live Before Lock coming back. We'll do that every slate that I can. And hopefully we can take down the DK 50K up top in the first week. That would be optimal, but we'll see what goes on. But I will see you guys on Thursday. Good luck until then, and I will see you.